Salve te discipuli. This is help for your Latin studies in Henle First Year Latin. Exercise number 202. In this exercise, we are translating some Latin verbs to English, and these particular Latin verbs are in the passive voice. And so I also have the blue book, the grammar book, open to this passive voice section, particularly rule numbers 240 and 241 will be helpful here. But it shows us in rule number 240 how all those present tense endings, OST, all those present system endings, I should say, OST, mustis, unt, in the active would translate to the passive with an ending orister, miniinter. So you should be practicing to memorize that, those endings, to know that to recognize them as passive voice endings. Okay, so with that in mind, let's look at a couple different words in Latin in exercise number 202. The first one is administrator. And so the first thing I want to do is look at that ending, ter, and find it here. I see ter is a replacement for the T ending, third person singular. So this verb will be a third person singular verb, and it's going to be in the passive voice. And I don't see any imperfect or future things about it, so we can assume that this is also present tense, just passive voice. Okay, and this is a new vocabulary word that's been given to us right on this page, from administro, meaning to manage. And so administrat in the active voice would mean I manage, or I do manage, or I am managing, right? Or he, she, it, I should say, in the third person singular. He, she, or it manages, does manage, or is managing. But in the passive voice, remember the subject receives the action. So now it becomes he, she, or it is being managed. And that's how we would translate that verb. I'll just pick one. He is being managed. Okay, that would be the translation there. Look at number 6, laudaberis. Laudaberis, we see the stem that we recognize for praise. And I want to point out here now in your grammar, rule number 241 gives us a special note about second person singular. The second person singular of the future indicative in the first and second conjugations changes is to eris. Okay, so where it was formerly laudabis, that would be the, second person singular future tense, we would change that to eris. Okay, so in the future tense, this verb in the second person would say, you will praise, right? Or you will be praising. Okay, and then in passive voice, instead the subject receives the action, and so that becomes you, singular, will be praised. All right, so we still have that future helper, will, but we still have that second person singular, but now the subject is receiving the action, so we have made it passive voice. You will be praised. Okay, let's do one more. Number 10, appellabamer. Appellabamer. Okay, so I'm looking at this mer, and I want to just note this, ba. Usually we see a BA, and that tells us what? It's going to be an imperfect tense, right? Which is that past ongoing action. And this is also a new verb given here on this page, appello, meaning to address or to call upon. Okay, so what becomes mer? Mus. This is a first person plural. Mus becomes mer. So as appellebamus, we would say we were addressing, right? Imperfect tense. In the past, ongoing. We were addressing. But in passive voice, we change to were, and now the subject receives the actions. And we would say, we were being addressed. Okay, so see how that works. We still have that first person plural. We still have that imperfect tense, but it's become a passive voice, whereas the subject is receiving the action of being addressed. We were being addressed. Okay, I hope this has been helpful to you. Have a great day.